Okay, next tutorial. This time I'm dressed up as a Harry Potter Death Eater, or more specifically, Lucius Malfoy. I've wanted to do this makeup for so long, ever since I got hold of my Lucius Malfoy wand. I mean, how pretty is that? It's also a cane, how cool is that? It's so pretty. But yeah, the second I got my hands on this, I knew exactly what Death Eater I wanted to do. I mean, all the Death Eater masks are amazing, there's so many pretty designs to choose from, but just this one is just particularly pretty to me, especially since, yeah. So yeah. If you'd like to learn how to do this makeup, stay tuned. So because this look is meant to be a mask, I'm going to have to pop on a bald cap and also get rid of my eyebrows. So I'll magically pop links on the screen right here to teach you guys how to block your eyebrows out and pop on a bald cap. That way I don't have to recap it in this video. So let's just quickly take care of that. Okie dokie, I also went over my ears as well because as I said it's meant to be a mask and I think ears would kind of ruin the silhouette of the look. I also went around the edge of my bald cap with a few layers of liquid latex just to blend off the edge. Then I can take my recent favourite, which is a Kryolan face liner pencil. Doesn't really matter on the colour, I'm using black, but the point of it is if you make a mistake it's easy to wipe off, so it shouldn't matter the colour too much. And I'm going to use this just to roughly map out the really pretty floral patterns that are on this look. I shouldn't really say floral, floral sounds too nice. I'm going to really roughly map out the aggressive patterns. Yeah, you get the idea. So I'm just going to trace the designs on. Really don't worry about making mistakes or anything because the beautiful thing about this look is the majority of it is black and the other half of it is silver. So the marks you make are going to get covered anyway, so you haven't got to worry about that. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly time-lapse through these designs. Then, when I've got all the details roughly mapped out and I know they're relatively symmetrical, I can take a black Superstar watercolour and I use that to paint the outside of the shapes that I've drawn. And even though it's a mask, I am going to paint my neck black as well because the costume's going to cover that, but from what I can tell in the films, because their cloaks cover their neck as well, I just don't think there's any skin showing. So I'm going to paint my neck black just so the silver that's in the pattern really does stand out. Okie dokie, so I'll neaten up the black later, but for now I want to talk about the silver that I'm going to be using. So I'm going to be using some Graftobian metal powder, which looks something like this. Don't know how much you can see that, but there you are. Yay! Which is basically an awesome silver powder. They do it in gold as well, I think, and copper, but it's an awesome silver powder that you mix with this magic set fluid, and when you mix it together, it makes an amazing metallic paint. So when you apply it, it looks genuinely like a metal. It's so shiny and lovely. It's going to be gorgeous for these designs. So I'm going to mix those two together, which is usually only a tiny bit of the magic set fluid, with the metal powder, and I can just lightly apply it on these designs. So then I'm going to let the silver dry and then I can go in with a second go afterwards. But in between that, I'm going to take a Superstar white face paint and I'm going to use that to roughly draw on some cheekbones, just to make the mask look a tiny bit more interesting. So I'm just going to draw a line going down my cheekbones and then straight down to make it look more masculine. Think Johnny Depp. And then after I've done that, I can show you how to blend it out. Then again, I can take the black watercolour and start shaping this. So the way I'm going to do it, which is the reason why I made it just like messy, because it doesn't need to be particularly neat at this stage, is I can take the black and I can start going over the white, because it's easier to go over white than it is to go over black. That's why I've done it this way. And the idea is to make the underside of this and this to be very sharp. It's the top side that needs to be blended, so I'm going to start going underneath with a lot of colour, and on top I'll blend that out, but I'll do that afterwards. Then taking a brush that's fairly fluffy but it's not got too much black on it, I can just start blending in the white on the top half, so it's not so harsh but there's a nice gradient. Then, taking the same fluffy brush, I'm going to make it ever so slightly damp and just dab it ever so slightly in the white watercolour, just so I've got a kind of grey, so not quite white or not quite black colour. And I'm just going to dab that down the middle of my nose, just to act as a highlight, as if the light is reflecting off it, just to make it look like a material that isn't skin, just to add a reflection in there, because it could be plastic or ceramic, just a material that isn't skin basically, so the mask. I'm also just adding the same white around the edge of the circle around the eyes. Again, just to act as a highlight. So something that's very subtle, but it just makes it look a bit more synthetic. And the same for the temples, but a little bit higher than your own temples, but joining on to this line that I've drawn here. So I'm just going to add the white, and then just the same that I did with the black on the underside here, I'm going to do a harsh line on this side, and then blend this white colour backwards. Then I'm going to take a MAC black fluid line in black track. I'm just going to line the waterline of my eyes on both the top and bottom, just to get rid of any hint of skin tone. Then the same as I did down the centre of the nose and the cheekbones, I'm going to take the white, take most of it off, and then just dab it lightly under the eyes, again just to add another reflection. Then I think the last thing to do really is pop in some black sclera contact lenses, pop on my costume, and I think I'm done. And there we go, that's my look officially complete. So I finished the look off by popping in 2 sclera contact lenses. You don't have to do that at all, it's just I think it makes it look more mask-like, especially considering how you don't see the person's eyes behind it. I just think it makes it more anonymous and scary. The costume that I popped on is just a generic robe. I've used it a few times in the past. I think I've used it for like Darth Maul and Savage Opress, that kind of look. Just something I got off Amazon I think a long time ago. I also popped on some black latex gloves because why not? I think it looks cool, especially with my wand, which I have to talk about my wand. I love my wand. I went to the Harry Potter studios a while back. I've been there I think twice now, and I just, yeah, it's so pretty. Look at that. Ah, oh, so pretty. So yeah, that's my Lucius Malfoy Death Eater makeup tutorial. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. If you like it, please make sure to, you know, the usual, rate, comment and subscribe and all that jazz, because it really does help me out. So yeah, until next video, bye guys.